It is 3 a.m. You are lying in the dark. And then it hits you. Something you said in 2017. A moment so small the other person probably forgot it by lunch. But your brain has kept it in a glass case, preserved, detailed, ready to play back in full HD at the worst possible moment. Here is the part nobody tells you. Your brain is not malfunctioning. It is following a program. A very old program. One that was written long before you existed. And once you understand what that program actually does, you will never think about that 3 a.m. feeling the same way again. Your face goes hot. You pull the blanket over your head. You try to think about something else. It gets worse. Why is your brain doing this? Why now? Why that memory specifically? Let's start with something strange. Think about the most embarrassing thing that ever happened to you. Really think about it. Notice how quickly it came to mind. Notice how clear it is. The details, the faces, the exact words. Now try to remember what you had for lunch 3 Tuesdays ago. Nothing, right? Complete blank. Your brain chose which one to keep, and it chose the embarrassing one, every time. That is not random. That is a system making a decision. And to understand why it makes that decision, you have to go back about 50,000 years. Picture this. A small group of humans, roughly 150 people, living, eating, sleeping, and surviving together. No cities, no law, no police, no Amazon delivery, just people and the land and each other. In that world, the biggest threat to your survival was not a lion. Lions were actually manageable. You saw a lion, you ran, or you threw something at it. Simple. The real threat? Other people. Specifically what other people thought of you. Because if your group turned on you, if you embarrassed yourself badly enough, if you were seen as unreliable or foolish or untrustworthy, you could be pushed out. And being pushed out of your group meant death. No food, no shelter, no protection. Alone in the wilderness with the lions you now had to face by yourself. Social rejection was not just painful, it was fatal. So your brain evolved a department. A whole dedicated system whose only job was to monitor your social standing and flag every moment where you slipped up. Every time you said the wrong thing. Every time you misread the room. Every time someone looked at you the wrong way after you spoke. The system tagged it, stored it, and kept it on file. Not to hurt you, to protect you, to make absolutely sure you never made that mistake again. That is the first piece of the puzzle. But it still does not explain the 3 a.m. part. Why does it always happen in the middle of the night? Here is where it gets genuinely strange. When you fall asleep, your brain does not switch off. It switches modes. It goes from receiving information to processing it. Think of it like a factory that stops taking deliveries and starts sorting through everything that arrived during the day. And the most intense sorting happens during REM sleep. Rapid eye movement, the deep dream stage. The stage your brain hits hardest in the early hours of the morning. Around 2 a.m., around 3 a.m., around 4 a.m. During REM sleep, your brain does something fascinating. It pulls up emotionally charged memories and tries to strip the emotional sting out of them. It takes the raw, overwhelming feeling attached to a memory and processes it down into something you can file away without it wrecking you. Think of it like a surgeon going into a wound to clean it. The memory has to be opened up before it can be healed. But here is the problem. Sometimes you wake up in the middle of that process. The memory is open. The surgeon is mid-operation. And there you are, suddenly conscious, staring directly at the wound with no anesthetic. That is the 3 a.m. replay. You are not haunted, you are being interrupted during surgery. Now here is the twist that changes everything. Your brain does not replay these memories randomly. It has a ranking system. And the ranking is based almost entirely on one thing: how much emotional charge the memory carries. The more embarrassed you were in the moment, the deeper the brain encoded the memory. The deeper the encoding, the more frequently the brain flags it for review. The more frequently it gets reviewed, the more it gets re-encoded. The more it gets re-encoded, the stronger it gets. You know that memory from 10 years ago that still feels like it happened yesterday? Your brain has been servicing it, maintaining it, refiling it with every pass. You have not been failing to forget it. Your brain has been actively, deliberately keeping it sharp. Because to your brain, that memory is not old news. It is an active safety file, a classified document, a lesson so important it cannot afford to let you forget it. Think about what this means. Your brain is not replaying your worst moments because it hates you. It is replaying them because it still considers them survival critical information. It genuinely believes that if it lets you forget the time you mispronounced a word in front of your entire class, you might do it again, and this time the group might exile you, and this time you will die alone in the wilderness. It has not gotten the update. It does not know the wilderness is gone. But wait, it gets stranger. Your brain does not just replay the moments you actually failed. It also replays the near misses, the times you almost said the wrong thing but caught yourself, the time you almost texted the wrong person, the time you nearly walked into the wrong meeting, the time you almost called your teacher mom. Your brain files near misses with the same urgency as actual failures, because in the ancient world, a near miss was not a relief. It was a warning shot. It was the predator you almost did not see, and warning shots needed to be stored just as carefully as the actual attacks. So your brain is running simulations on both your failures and your almost failures, all night, in a loop, looking for patterns, looking for what went wrong and what nearly went wrong, so it can build a better model of the social world and protect you from future threats. You are not lying awake in misery. You are being run through a training program. Now here is the final piece, the one that explains why it feels so much worse at night. During the day, your prefrontal cortex is active. That is the rational part of your brain. The part that can say this was years ago, nobody remembers it. It genuinely does not matter. That part acts as a filter. It intercepts the threat signal and puts it in context. But at 3 a.m., when you wake up from REM sleep, the prefrontal cortex is barely online. It is running on minimal power. The filters are down. The rational voice is quiet. So the memory arrives completely unfiltered. No context, no perspective, no rational voice saying you are fine. Just the raw emotional signal, full strength, exactly as it felt in the original moment. Here is what changes when you know all of this. The people who survived long enough to become your ancestors were not the people who let embarrassing moments slide. They were the ones who took every social misstep seriously, who reviewed it, learned from it, and adjusted. Their social anxiety was not a flaw. It was a precision tool, sharp enough to keep them alive in a world where one wrong move could end everything. That tool got passed down to you. It is sitting in your skull right now. And on some nights at 3 a.m., in a world that is nothing like the one it was built for, it is still doing its job. Your brain is not punishing you for the past. It is still fighting for your survival. It just does not know the war ended. So the next time you wake up at 3 a.m. and your brain serves up the memory of the time you laughed at something that was not a joke, or called someone by the wrong name, or tripped in front of a crowd, try to hear it differently. That is not your brain torturing you. That is your brain running its oldest program, doing what it was designed to do in a world that has moved so far beyond what it was built for that it can barely keep up. The embarrassment was real. The memory is real. But the threat that made your brain store it this way, the mortal danger of social failure, that threat is gone. Your brain just has not gotten that memo yet. It is 3 a.m. The room is dark, and somewhere in your skull, a system built for a world 50,000 years ago is still doing its job.